Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today I'm bringing you the review that everyone wants to see, the Galaxy S6 review. Is this the best phone out on the market? Is this the best that Samsung's ever brought? Well, it's the best they've had in a long time, just like everyone's saying. I would equivalent the S6 to the S3. The S3 created uniformity and was a really big competitor to Apple from Android in a long time since the Droid series. Now, the S6 takes a lot of what Apple had in terms of premium design that was only found on certain phones like HTC before and brings it to another standard. And that's really what the S6 does. So first of all, design, it just really stands out, obviously. It's a very thin phone. It literally has cues from every single top phone we've had over the past years. You have the iPhone on the bottom, you have S4 on the front, you have the S3 on the side, you have the Nexus 4 on the back, and you have the Note 4 on the top. Really great all-around design. Do I mind that it's glass? I actually do prefer glass over all metal. Not to mention that I love that this stays flat, like similar to how the S3 was, and only curves around the edges instead of just in the middle. I've found it easier to grip than other metal phones such as the HTC or the iPhone. And because of that reason, it really stands out with me in terms of being able to hold it for a long period of time. It's very light, it's very thin, obviously, so that does help as well. But the number one seller for me about the S6 is the camera. The camera is really just on another level compared to everything else out there. Me, myself, I took many, many great photos while I was on vacation. And while I was on vacation, I was able to have some really good times to the point where people have thought these were stock photos because they're so good. And they definitely stand out. So because of this camera quality, it really looks good during the day, but it really impressed me was not just the day quality, but the night quality. It just looks amazing. All the shots really have stood out to me in this phone. It just looks really good, and to the point where you just get detail you don't get on other phones. It really stands out. And in terms of that, in terms of camera quality, it is the best right now in the market, especially with the double tap feature. You just double tap the home button and it launches your camera immediately. I love that. It was such an intelligent design for the camera to be a double tap home, simply because that's what people use. People use the camera more often than anything else on their phone, at least for the most part. It's one of the main things. I prefer it over voice, and of course I always have OK Google to be able to do all of the voice setup. So really nice for those purposes. Now, what about battery life? Battery life has been good on the S6. Not great as in a Note series, but really good. And I would say for average users, they would be fine to easily get through a day. I'm a power user though. So if I'm a power user, I do find myself very much lower than I like towards the end of the day. I'm used to having a 2-day battery life though, so I have pretty high standards. Overall though, the battery life is pretty damn good for a flagship device of this size. Normally when you get a bigger size like the Note, you also get longer battery life. But is the battery life bad? No, not by any means. It actually is better than a lot of the new flagships that have come out in 2015. So for that purposes, I do recommend it in terms of battery life as well. So, is this the phone you should get? Should you consider other phones out there on the market? Well, if you want the best camera quality, if you want the best display, the S6 is it. Battery life, as long as you're comfortable with the day battery life, you will be fine with the S6. If you wanted a longer battery life, that's when you lean towards certain phones like the Note 4 and other longer lasting battery life phones. But if you just want a really good feeling phone and you want it to be just good overall, like you really don't have any complaints about the S6. And that's what makes it such a good phone. And the number one phone I would recommend right now out in the market. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and make sure to check out all of our S6 videos to know how to use the device. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.